tried playing it in solo queue, and clearly he's never got mastery over the Syndra pick, so until Syndra sees some adjustments, it's kind of going to be a thorn in their side, 'cause they're going to have to continue banning on both sides.
And to be honestly, it's unacceptable that he can't play the champion at this point. It's actually really weird for such a mechanically gifted player. Anyway, Rek'Sai ban obviously means that Lee Sin is the go-to pick for Samsung, unless they want to randomly first pick a Kha'Zix.
Worth mentioning, Bengi took 440 games to play Nidalee, and they had to ban it on blue and red, and SKT did all right.
I mean, they did all right, but I would like to believe Crown mechanically is better than Bengi, and when
How
it comes
many
to
world championships?
I know, crazy statements we are throwing out here in Game 4, but it is really strange. I see almost every other mid laner be able to master Syndra except for Crown, but nonetheless, Lee Sin is open. Ambition really wants to play it for sure. Kongdoo Monsters will have to ban it right now, and they don't, which means Lee Sin should be the first pick.
We could see the Lee Sin come in. We could also see the Rise, but it's going to be the Lee Sin.
I was actually surprised with the Rise reach in Game 2, given that there wasn't priority of it at all in Game 3, but it seems like Samsung very, very predictably. We knew they would be fishing for Lee Sin when they banned Rek'Sai, and in general, this series, first time it's up, first time it's locked in, they once again, Kongdoo really like the Cassio. Now, Cassio has been winning the Orianna lane matchup consistently for them, and they pack it with the Karma that can really help out the bottom lane. So although it feels like a reach for the Cassio, given just how the series has gone, not the worst reach.
And Kongdoo again banning away Thresh over other priority picks, like Maokai is now available, has been like the key pick for QV this tournament, and we can already see in this pick on ban phase now, Samsung is putting on the try-hard pants once again and being like, okay, we want the Lee Sin for Ambition, it's been his best pick. We now get the Maokai up top lane for QV as well. So it's like a super standard, very strong Samsung comp. And again, the Thresh ban, I don't think it's worth it personally. I can maybe see because they're like saying, okay, we know we give them Lee Sin, we get Karma, and they don't have like a range support available. Nami is still there if they want to play for laning phase, otherwise you go something like a tank support, like a melee support.
I mean, Orianna and Nami will be the ultimate standard picks on the blue side to follow up what's already been drafted. Doesn't mean the only consistent damage is Ezreal, but Trinity Force Ezreal can certainly do a lot of work.
Soul swapping back over to this Jhin, something we haven't seen from him in the last couple games here. So had a really strong performance on this during the group stage, went 17-2 with that champion. So definitely going to be very comfortable there. Ruler as well on this Ezreal. This is one of his old comfort picks from Summer Split before he actually picked up Jhin himself. It was Ashe, Sivir, and Ezreal for him all the time, so he's going to be quite safe. And speaking of comfort picks, the Victor comes through for Crown.
Yeah, now it's biting Samsung a little bit in the butt that they actually banned Zyra. Had they not banned Zyra, let's say they swapped it for like a Cassiopeia ban, Kongdoo Monster would have to decide with their last ban, being like, do we ban the Zyra, do we ban the Lee Sin, do we like keep both of them open, both Karma and Zyra, and then we trade them? Now, because Samsung banned the Zyra, and obviously first pick Lee Sin, they knew Karma was going to go to Kongdoo Monsters. They don't have a good support choice left for pure laning phase, so they're going for more teamfight focus with the Braum.
Okay, there we go. So we saw hover really quickly there over the Shyvana. Didn't think that was going to be likely. So straight back into the Kha'Zix. So
yes,
that is risky now.
This is
I know I said that before, but
yeah, this is certainly, there's some setup CC, the root from the Deadly Flourish and the Poppy done against the one. Of course, situationally the Cassio ult, but sticking with what worked last game, they're sticking with the Kha'Zix.
But like, if we just look at again Kha'Zix and what he does well, it's like killing squishy targets, it's isolated, this is again pure 5-on-5 team fight from Samsung. There's even a melee tank support in here who can build shields, face of the mountain, lock it, has exhaust, has instant CC with an ulti. There's Maokai Lee Sin. Both champions will do really well against Kha'Zix. Like, I understand that he's been doing really well now, but I think this is a massive gamble once again. But I guess if you're Kongdoo Monsters, they're saying, you know what, we're gonna pick you off before you start team fighting and snowball that way and try and win the game. But they couldn't close out the game really easily in the last series or in the last game. It's gonna be really difficult now.
Yeah, still really questionable from them, but now need to win this one to tie up the set and try to complete that reverse sweep over Samsung. Otherwise, Samsung, they're going to close it out with a 3-1 victory and be your IEM Gyeonggi champions. We'll see if they're able to do that here. If Kongdoo Monster is going to throw yet another wrench into their engine. Pressure's on for Kongdoo to continue a strong level of performance. Didn't quite see it fully in that last game. Let's see if they can unlock it here. We'll go ahead and load onto the Rift for Game 4. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift. Still a lot of Samsung fans out there.
And we can just see how Ambition was like, give me Lee Sin. We don't need to ban Kha'Zix because Lee Sin is really good there in that situation against the Kha'Zix. Very easy to close the distance with safeguard to your ally. If you need to save them, you can kick away the Kha'Zix. You can even burst him down very, very easily as a level 6 Lee Sin. So Ambition is ready to carry and say that Kha'Zix is strong, but Punch is not as good as I am on it.
It just feels like we're echoing Game 1 here in Game 4 because Samsung are ultra comfort once again. The Victor's back, the Ezreal's been always a pick. For all that, Maokai has been the pick, the QV has been going for, and finally Ambition gets his hands on the Lee Sin. Sure, Gold JJ on Braum is a little bit different, normally favors the range supports, but none of them were available that really applied in this game, and Kongdoo have gone for a gimmicky snowball comp. If they get ahead in the early game, sure, things can happen, and we've said that a couple of times already tonight, in that given the tenure of the games, this is one of the few series where you're like, why not? It's worked twice in a row.
Of course, and if Kongdoo Monsters expect this game to be like the last one, it makes a lot of sense.
And the reason why I don't mind it, even though it's a bit crazy, even though it goes against my analytical tendencies, it's one of those things where if you just pull it to late game against Samsung, you're probably going to lose 9 times out of 10 if you're Kongdoo Monster, if you're just drafting the same as Samsung. So throw a Gambit. The Kha'Zix is kind of a mind game at this point, given how well it's performed, and see what you can do.
I mean, you could also argue then, going back to that Elise plan they had in Game 1, saying let's get a strong ganker instead of now a strong skirmish jungler, and then see if we can gank the mid lane, gank the bot lane, and try and snowball our lanes. But they're opting into this Kha'Zix for more assassination potential, and they're hoping that Samsung plays scrappy like in the last game. But if Samsung plays cool and collective, and just ends up playing as a team where they just focus on getting through the laning phase into team fights with this Victor, with the Braum, with the Maokai, then I don't think Kha'Zix can do a whole lot in this game.
We'll have some time to find out. Punch, of course, last game going for very gank heavy rather than farm heavy like we saw from the side of Ambition, and see what kind of tendencies he's going to have as we move forward into this one.
Yeah, and he fell behind in the last game because he tried to gank and it backfired for him, but then he was able to pick up kills later on in fights. Ambition will try and track him and see if he can counter gank whatever Punch is trying to do.
Right now, mid lane not going to be as trade heavy as we saw with the Orianna matchup. Edge on that Cassiopeia, ground on that Victor. Definitely have to show him a lot of respect, so Edge will be very careful to not overstep his bounds.
Kongdoo do have lane priority in mid and bot lane, especially early. That means that Punch can go for the invade.
Yep, they see the wards coming through. And looks like now that they've noticed each other, just go ahead and go their separate ways. The trade back, we'll get that little proc, the Thunderlords, but we're all going to be pretty even exchange.
The really key thing for Victor early game is mainly this trade with your Q. You don't really have mana to use E on every trade with the enemy champion. Only use it if you can get a Thunderlord to proc. Otherwise, just use your Q, get the shield, get the hit down, and then go back to the focus on farming. You want to get that Hex Core on the first back. It's the only thing you really play for in the laning phase as a Victor. Cassiopeia instead can actually try and force an earlier back, get a tier, much in her favor, but she might need some jungle help from Punch then to actually push out that lane and force a recall from Crown.
That's why you see the all-in trade from Edge. Even though he gets low on mana, if you can force Victor back before 1250 gold, one of the slowest back timings of any mid lane, it can't just pick up incremental Doran's rings without delaying his build buff pretty significantly, and of course his big wave-pushing power spike that everyone knows at level 7, taking out those backline creeps, then you're kind of winning the Victor matchup as a Cassiopeia. So far, been able to stay in lane once he had about another 15 to 20 CS and pick up that big first back, this Crown.
Yeah, he should be fine by now because he hasn't been forced to blow any summoners or anything. Again, the Kha'Zix can't really gank him. It's another problem for obviously the Punch here is that he can't really go aggressive in the mid lane and help Edge get that advantage over the Victor. So Crown is just sitting kind of on low mana, but he's just trying to stay in lane and get a few last hits to get enough gold, and he knows he's not going to get ganked anyway.
You see Ambition roaming down to the bottom side of the map, but gets spotted out by that ward in the Tri-Brush, so clears that one out, and he's just going to continue onward with his jungle pathing. Meanwhile, of course, the eternal noodle fight happening in the top lane. Neither of these guys likely going to be coming up with a solo kill, but that was actually something we saw surprisingly from Lorlo during this tournament, was a lot of tank 1v1 solo kills coming out.
QV is actually really far ahead in CS. He was even as this wave crashed, but it was about 11 CS in the wave, so open up a 9 CS advantage. So pretty happy all in all.
Exactly what Samsung wants. Slow and steady. Bot lane as well. KeSPA and Ruler is not looking to try and kill the Kongdoo monster bot lane. No, if they can just stay even and farm and make sure that tower doesn't take too much damage, then they're doing their job, because they're both going to look to just get out of this laning phase anyway and get into these team fights, especially with the Braum support. So really good start from Samsung. You can see it in the goal lead just from pure laning. Crown got his perfect back timing. Punch is trying to hit that level 6 really quickly, but Ambition is going to match him. And then Kha'Zix doesn't have any sort of advantage when it comes to pure ganking. Only if he can find the Lee Sin. If Ambition is face-checking him, then Kha'Zix can take him down.
Yeah, I mean, you can see just how much faster the clear is from Ambition. 43 to 26 CS. Punch still not being able to find any sort of gank, so he is just falling steadily and steadily further behind Ambition. Though this was something that we saw happen in the last game, but this time it seems to be a lot more severe, especially with the lineup that Samsung have arranged for themselves. More hit.
Good
Gets
start on Guger.
They didn't really think about it
Why
at
would
first.
you
They weren't
exhaust?
sure. They weren't sure if they wanted to commit to that. Kind of decided way too late to say yes. Where JJ burns out the exhaust, and Kongdoo, they get a nice trade back on the Ruler.
Yeah, that was a complete waste by KeSPA trying to exhaust Guga right there. Didn't get any summoner spells in return. And now we got to see Jin's big laning spike always comes like first back, and then after level 6, when he has that ulti that offers so much power, might be an opening for Kongdoo Monster to try and make a play a bit more aggressive now that there's a summoner down on the side of Samsung. But it's small things, very, very small ones. We're mainly looking at Punch and Edge in the mid lane. Punch is moving in now to try and find Ambition. We'll spot him with the scrying plant.
Worth knowing the level 6 power spike is usually most keenly observed against ranged supports and squishy supports. If Braum has it, he can just put it up, and that will be enough to stop it being, you know, 2/3 of someone's health bar at level 6. So relative safely here because of the Braum draft.
Oh, Ambition roaming down. They're looking for the flag. Kick back onto Soul. That should be him going down for first blood as it is. Ambition going to take it for himself. He said, you know what? I set this one up. I'm going to take this from you guys. Thank you very much. And he will exit the bottom lane. Nicely done by him. Going off those mechanics on the Lee Sin.
Could have been cleaner in terms of the queue, but the pathing was good. The timing was great. Soul was overstaying in lane for the first buy, which ends up being swiftness boots and a couple of long swords. Not really the big BF sword pickups that we saw in previous games. And first blood on the Lee Sin, justifying the first pick Lee Sin as well.
Yeah, very well played Soul. Either realized too late he could have flashed, or just said, you know what, I'm going to save it. There's a high chance Ambition will follow me. Gang in top lane.
He's got the ward. Roach pushing him actually closer to the turret, but looks like it might not matter. Will he get it? That's actually going to be Roach trading his life. That's going to be a 1-for-1. Nicely done by Kuve. Doesn't actually have to do a whole lot there. It's kind of handed over to him.
I really like his reaction though. He sees the Kha'Zix, he just snares him instantly, and he walks out. So Kha'Zix can't sit there and start hitting him and get proper isolation damage on him. And then in the end, 1-for-1 trade, I think Roach is kind of valuing getting an assist on the Kha'Zix very highly. And obviously, the fact you get an extra assist over just a 1 kill is a slight goal advantage for your team.
But
Two flashes down by Kongdoo Monster, however.
The snare flash was actually really smart. He opened up the most distance. That meant that the Kha'Zix was out of the fight because he doesn't have another gap closer. And at that point, Poppy flashes in, trades his life with the low health bar. So the maximum there gotten by Kuve given the situation.
It was nicely done by him, and he's going to continue stretching that that CS lead a little bit further here as he's 18 up currently over top of Roach.
And really interesting first back from Soul, going straight for swiftness boots over something like a BF sword, extra damage. He values mobility above anything else against the Braum Lee Sin combination, but it greatly reduces his damage in lane. And Kongdoo Monsters were playing with that range support down in the bottom lane. They are going to naturally get a bit outscaled just because it's a Braum on the other side. And they're valuing safety over actually being offensive.
And they've kind of lost in two ways too, because the first back was so delayed, and if you're going to go a longsword build, you want to get that early shot before, say for example, Tyr and Sheen were purchased, and longsword as well, so kind of a bit of everything here for Rule. If you get Tyr and Sheen on your first back, you can actually compete as an Ezreal and win trades certainly, especially against the double longswords as you mentioned, Deficio. I might actually take Ezreal in the straight up 1v1.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, again, Soul just putting value on him staying alive more than anything.
Oh boy, Soul, yeah, not going to get popped up by that Glacial Fissure. They're all taking a little bit of damage from that True Shot Barrage in the end. Edge not going to get caught up by the Gravity Well. Some aggression across the map here, but no one's going to go down. They did get that flash away from the Jin, however.
Yeah, and I feel like we're seeing a more serious Samsung in this game here. We haven't seen any crazy shenanigans just yet. It's very, very slow and steady. Ambition is trying to track Punch around the map, and he pulled up one good gank. We'll actually find a KeSPA.
Well, he's going to go in for the 1v1, takes him quite low, has the Dragon's Rage available, but no flash to try to close the distance.
Watch the bot lane though, the flow of on effect might be here. Kha'Zix has exited the red side, the blue side jungle.
Ambition coming over the wall, looking for Cougar, not going to land the Sonic Wave. Exhaust comes out, and he's just going to dash to
I like how he missed the Q and he's like, okay, I'm going to use the vessel to spare my shame.
He just exits safely. Did get the exhaust out of Cougar, so it's not like he didn't pick anything up for his troubles.
Definitely true. Crown is here now as well. There's a potential dive. You can use the blast cone to get out or get further in, I guess. That was actually not really fast though. But
yeah, now there's a TP coming through actually from Road. This could be bad. Gonna be Punch going low, Crown trying to finish him off. Has that Chaos Storm coming through, and Ambition's just gonna use the Dragon's Rage to confirm the kill. On to Cougar, now Edge all on his lonesome. Will set up too with that Petrifying Gaze, and he's sitting in underneath the tower. The members of Samsung going low. Looks like that was
Crown just had to snipe Punch.
Yeah, able to go ahead and take out Punch in the end. So a 2-for-0 so far for Samsung. Gets the Sonic Wave and finishes him off with that execute damage. 3 picked up as Soul goes down. Edge in a bad spot. Is able to take out Ruler, but has to kite down the lane. He'd have to play this perfectly if he wants to come out the kills. The shield comes through from Ambition to help Crown stay alive, and they pick up another kill. 4 for Samsung.
Yeah, it could have even been worse. They didn't even have to invest the teleport from Cube, who had the TP advantage. Obviously, Roach would have tried to chase him down, but Samsung get everything they want, and that time, the Lee Sin was clean.
It's all in their favor. Kha'Zix, or let's just say Punch in this game, has been completely useless, and you can see it again in this fight. He's not able to join at any point. He can't isolate any targets. Too squishy as well. And Ambition on Lee Sin is just carrying this early game.
Yeah, two shots out from Soul. Has to cancel it after that because Ambition's just right up in his face. Ruler does end up going down, but still just net drop.
I like that little laser. Like, oh, Punch just died up there. Walks right into it, and in the end, Ambition with some more big plays.
He's so smart. He had the ward down for ages, waited till Jin walked up to get greedy for CS. Ward jump, kill. And it's the reason why it's been banned so frequently.
Yeah, and it's just a great power play, and he's doing it again. He knows this bot lane is so strong, 2v2.
But this time,
TP.
Yeah, Cube's coming in. They're just going to wait for the Maokai to arrive. The tether is there, catching up onto Ambition, but that's going to be Cube popping Cougar with the Maelstrom, and with Jin all by himself, it's going to be a nice kill pick up for Ruler on the Ezreal.
And this play right there has been the most standard play this tournament. TP advantage top lane, a bot lane that can push the other bot lane on the tower, and then you just push them in, you walk in with the jungle, you place a ward, you TP in, and it's guaranteed tower and kills. Nothing Kongdoo monsters can do in return. And this game here, it's the classic Samsung style where everything seems to be calculated, it's the correct macro moves. No one is fooling around here. And it's much stronger versus Tankju against Maokai, Lee Sin, Braum. In this game here, your lethality is going to do basically nothing against all those targets, but good to see Punch coming online here and finally pulling off a gank and actually entering this game here, because he really needs to get fed fast to do something on this Kha'Zix.
Yeah, Dragon. Dragon going down, Ambition roaming over, will spot it out just in the last second, but it's not enough time to react and try to find a steal.
And
so that will be a good pickup.
And with another Infernal spawning, maybe there is a lifeline.
Uh-oh.
Maybe too early to say. There's Ambition once more, not going to get it here.
Yeah, out of range, but they got the Ghost away from Edge. Had to hightail it out of there as he didn't have any mana to try to stick around for an exchange. And you can see Ruler threw out that ultimate trying to delay the back, did stop playing.
The tower though going down, and Cougar.
Oh yeah, getting jumped on, there's the stun. The concussive blows, and Ambition will pick up his 4th kill. 4-0 and 3 on this Lee Sin, almost half of his team's kills.
I mean, Ambition has hard carried 2 games out of their 3 victories. Majestic on the Kha'Zix. Missed a couple of Qs here, but they haven't been massive ones. Looking for more, trying to cut down the Poppy, but they'll get a red buff. And it's been the extra objectives Samsung gets that have really been separated them from Kongdoo Monster.
Yeah. Ambition realized he had dinner plans, and he actually needed this game to finish pretty fast, so he's just solo carrying the whole thing.
Oh, red fighting Gaze, nice stop on Ambition. That's
now he died.
A kill. Punch finds a double, actually. They will trade those 2 members of Samsung for the top tier 1 tower.
Can you call them push those dinner plans a little bit this year?
I mean, right there, it's the caster curse, and it's Punch showing how overpowered Kha'Zix is.
Are you just going for like quotes that will be taken out of context
Hell
now?
yeah. I love that's the best part about casting. Whenever people like You say like a full sentence, they cut it short and just be like, oh, he said Europe was better than LCK. What happened there?
What did happen there now that I mention it? Putting you on the spot now. In
what
Korea.
did happen? Actually never said that. I don't think I've ever said
You
that.
said that there's going to be 7 highly competitive European
That's very
teams.
true. And then some people actually thought I meant
that
on an
obviously-
international level. These 7 European teams will actually take down Korea.
Are you saying those 5 teams might not go international?
They will be good in Europe, guys. Within Europe, they will do well. Just like Samsung will do well in Korea. And I'm not sure about Kongdoo Monster once LCK actually starts, if they can compete.
I mean, we still
With
see
the
the
top
finalized
teams.
rosters for a lot of these other squads because we still don't know a lot about some of these teams. So
Apparently
Kongdoo
ROX Tigers
Monster-
are playing next season.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen there?
I mean, there aren't many free agents left, so optimism levels for ROX Tigers have to be
Hey,
pretty
they
low.
get some
Crush is
European
still
players.
available.
That's true, though. European players are
Finally get some
Forgiven
imports.
doesn't have a team.
Right there, for
He wants to play an LCK.
A lot of European supports haven't announced teams yet. Vander, Hybrid, Kasing.
He was in Korea.
There's a few you can pick up. I'm just saying.
Some fishy activity coming around from some of these Europeans. Kongdoo, how they're going to perform in LCK, we do not know. We just know that right now things are not looking very good for them in this matchup versus Samsung.
They got Ghostblade now, don't worry.
Oh, God, thank
Hey,
God.
lethality scales on enemy level, Deficio.
It does.
And their levels are getting higher.
Yes, it
So the
does.
late game investment of lethality is looking pretty
That
good.
flat armor penetration against these tanks with like 200 armor.
I mean, that's more than the cloth armor that Lee Sin has. So once he hits 15, he's got armor penetration for that cloth armor.
For the next
So
few
much
minutes,
damage.
he will deal some damage. Not against Maokai,
No.
of course.
No, definitely not.
He'll never deal damage against Maokai. That's just, that is a rule. It's a law of physics at this point, I think.
KeSPA is going to take no damage up here.
Nope. Like, okay. Twisted advance, gets a shield. But everything is fine. Ambition looking for the Sonic Wave. Does find Soul. Does he want to go for the insect kick?
This was the previous game. The answer would be yes, but he seems to want to win this one.
Yeah. And Samsung just starting to chip away at this turret, working it lower and lower. Roach can't really do a whole lot of anything. Hasn't even fired up that Keeper's Verdict. Will finally use it. Only finds Core JJ. Trick calls here. Meanwhile, Ambition on the other side getting locked up and actually destroyed. Soul is able to find the kill with that 4th and final shot. The lethality doing some work. Chaos Storm comes back out, and that's going to shove Roach and Edge back up the lane.
Yeah, I don't think Samsung in there was on the same page. Ambition went for the play on the right side, and Crown and Ruler with flashes and Ghost ready. Didn't actually try and follow and take down Edge. We'll find him now, though.
Yeah, they're looking for him. The root not going to come through on the Ruler. It does find Core JJ. But Edge goes down one more shot. What I'm thinking about, punch wrapping around the opposite side. Gets burned out by Crown. And they're going to try to hand over that blue buff. But Soul with the final shot is able to take it for himself.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
You got nothing? I'm sure a punch right there tried to pull off quite a flank. Sadly for him, he realized
It would have been a flank to witness indeed.
it would have been a great flank.
I'm sure we'll see a replay to confirm that he
great
got
flank.
in quite a
Actually,
close range.
most
the
of our
best flanks.
replays show like one kill and then we cut the replays.
Well,
I don't know
normally
why.
we don't see multiple kills spread over about a 40-second period here in
That's
LCK.
why, yeah.
They're not really sure how to frame that. Here we go.
Let's see. So, oh, this is going to be the kill. Oh, actually, he just jumped
It
Crown.
wasn't even a flank.
Oh,
It just happened right below us.
That's actually a pretty good outplay in general by Crown. Exhaust was very helpful too.
good use of the stun on the ground. And now he has his Rylai's, which is the great spot for Victor. Sadly, will not happen on live when Rylai's has been nerfed. May Victor rest in peace.
And while we kind of have a pretty solved meta in terms of mid lane champions purely because of Rylai's power level on 623 and previously, one of the new things we will see when the season start next year is going to be, as you say, the Rylai's change. It might actually change the tier list of mid laners quite conspicuous.
Yeah, I mean, let's see Ambition.
Ambition, he's hot on the heels, but Edge is here to back up punch. We're going to throw up that Unbreakable, but he'll be all right.
But basically, mages who don't really need to build Rylai's now will be even stronger. Things like Orianna, where you don't need it. She will obviously be in a great spot. I'm sure we're going to see other things. Must be some changes later on as well for some of their assassins that's not being used, like Talon. We haven't seen him at all. After the rework, Zed is not being used in competitive play. been the same for a long time.
We're excited to see if we have any Katarina coming out with her recent rework.
Oh yeah, Katarina actually seems pretty strong. Like, if Kha'Zix can work in competitive, so can Katarina.
I gotta say, I'm surprised that we saw, okay, it was Piglet, but multiple Vaynes this tournament, and no Katarina. Not even one attempt at a Katarina.
I'm surprised that Piglet didn't run Vayne into the Sivir when they played against Samsung.
Yeah, I was very surprised when Piglet decided to see Ash Zyra from the other team, and he said, guys, I think this is time for Vayne. And then he like tumbled into every arrow he could and actually fed pretty badly. Anyway, we're talking enough about Piglet. He's not in this game because he didn't make the final.
Yeah, out of the tournament. Beaten by this team right here, Samsung, who are looking like they might be on the, I won't say the fast track, but the steady track towards a victory.
We're taking a more serious track.
The hype train was years ago. The hype train's not actually running. It's been decommissioned. Now it's a much slower train. It's a bit of a steam train, actually. It's inevitable, but it still gets to its goal, and that's winning one.
It's actually getting rebranded right now. We're riding Europe on it for the 2017 World Championship.
Taking a train?
We will take the hype train.
You already took all our Koreans. You're taking a train too?
So you just said that you were talking about competitiveness inside of Europe, and now you're saying that there's going to be the hype train of the world. So, Fidjo, which one is it?
No, it's not a hype train. It's a heist train.
No.
You stole the train.
Yeah, we did that. That's true. First, it starts within Europe for Spring Split, and then in summer, it moves on to the world.
That's how Britain thought about distributing their empire.
It worked pretty well for some time.
That's true.
It worked actually really well.
And then they lost everything.
Then in the end they lost, but that's fine as long as we have like a good moment at 2017 Worlds.
Just think back to Season 1. It was so beautiful.
It was. We still highlight it every day.
The best moment for Europe.
Whenever you wake up as a
Worlds.
European caster, you're like, Season 1 Worlds happened. Yes, Fnatic was a thing.
Yep. Freak's Basement.
In Freak's
They
Basement.
won in Freak's Basement.
That's true.
Also
in Europe.
It was funny enough in Sweden. But
Do you know if he still has the code share for his basement in Europe?
He actually told me that. Whoops! Well, Soul's dead.
Yep. All right, Soul's dead. Tier 2 tower going down. Ambition on the hunt. Punch. They'll find him, kicks him into that Chaos Storm, and he's going to die in midair.
That was an amusing amount of damage.
We're gonna find. Why is Edge up here anyway?
I don't know. We were too busy talking about Europe and how bad they are. Petrifying Gaze on Ambition. Not going to get caught out by that one, and Crown, he's just too healthy. They're going to burn him out. There it is. The afterburn takes him down. And Samsung, yeah, I think they pretty much have this one in the bag.
Well, they're going to take Baron now. They can't really mess that one up. No one to actually steal it.
Launcher Q.
We have seen Smeb steal this poppy before, but something tells me that Roach won't be able to do the same thing. Maybe Cougar. We've seen Mantra Qs as well, where JJ pinned to the wall. Baron goes down. Roach jumped on, and he is going to fall.
I'm glad you actually mentioned the Smeb steal, because I remember being tilted because people were praising him for the steal. It was an RNG ulti on the Baron that ended up getting it.
Hey, for other players, it's RNG. He calculated.
He knew exactly when it would deal damage.
Easy.
Yeah, of course. Anyhow, this is a punch, finding Ambition and finding Crown at the same time.
Wait, you're thinking of the Gangplank steal.
Yeah, that
I'm
one.
talking about the Poppy steal.
He did steal it on Poppy.
Oh,
as well.
really?
Yeah.
Well, that one. Okay, respect for that one then.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was like, he did that by himself. But
No,
Edge
the
just,
GP one. The GP one.
yeah, Edge just didn't stand a chance here. But it turns out Smeb's pretty good at League of Legends.
He is.
And Samsung is also pretty good at League of Legends.
Ambition on Lee Sin is a fantastic thing to watch.
When he lands the Sonic Waves.
When he lands it, when he takes it very serious, like in this game here. Because Samsung, honestly, has been in control since almost minute 1, because they just want to slow farm it. They got a CS lead.
As soon as Soul came back to lane with double longsword, I think that was
And a
pretty
swiftness
much the
boots. You know,
And
you're like,
swiftness
hang on, what's
But you
happening?
need games like this, and I think just a tournament like IEM to really cement your opinion on Samsung in particular. Because sure, they did really well at Worlds, but you could always God mode a single tournament. Some of these players hadn't performed in Korea. So it's good to see gears from Samsung, because these are the same gears that they can tap over a much longer double round robin best of 3 next year.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people like looking at the World Final were like, oh, SKT 2-0, it's going to be 3-0 now. Everyone has kind of written Samsung off after the first 2 games, saying, yeah, they only made it to the final because they're the
Weak side of the bracket.
The weak side of the bracket. But then when they actually managed to come back and made it 5 games, and even the 5th game was extremely close, it was kind of like confirmed that, okay, this is actually a world-class team.
Because it didn't really make sense, right? You look at this team, there were no fakers. There was no guys at the time you would have right at the top. Here's the fight, though.
All right, punch going in onto Ruler, trying to take him out. Will be able to do so successfully. So far, 1-for-1, but Edge has gone down, and Soul getting burned out by the Chaos Storm. He's going to fall on double kill now, coming in for Crowd. Can he make it more? It's going to be Roach and Punch, the only two left alive. Will he find it? No, it's going to be taken by Ambition, but with 4 members dead, all of those long death timers and the Nexus turrets crumbling. That will be Samsung closing out this victory over Kongdoo Monster. They will be your IEM Gyeonggi champions, and they will be moving on to Katowice in sometime in March.
It's actually at the end of February,
ending.
but
Great
really
ending.
nice. That's going to hit
February.
the spotlight. As Punch tries to open up as much time as possible, the game should invariably end. I'll be the one that calls it. Congratulations to Samsung Galaxy. They join Unicorns of Love at IEM Katowice.
Thank you very much, Thomas Finley, for taking the reins.
Who's
on
the
that.
play-by-play caster now?
I don't know. I'll
Big
just go.
Papa in the house.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I have to go to the kids' table now. Join the rest of our analysts.
What a different game, though. Samsung very clearly being like, all right, we're done playing around. Let's just finish this one. It was calculated. It was honestly close to perfect.
And a lot of people with the off-season news, they wanted to see the Samsung players come in. I'm talking about Samsung Blue and White players that had gone over to China. They wanted to see if Faker was going to stay in Korea. I wanted to see if Samsung would stay together because they gave us a taster at the World Championship of a team we never saw in LCK. Now they go to IEM Gyeonggi, strengthen those sales with a victory here, and now I really want to see Core JJ play a full season and support. Ruler play his second season after his rookie season was so sparkling, and now they have a victory to show for it as Kongdoo. Saw some of their members, looks on their face. They still have to emulate the success that Samsung now has.
We have to remember Samsung only lost 1 game in this tournament. That was the 3rd game against Kongdoo Monster. It looked like a 3-0. It wasn't. We see the same play again. Fantastic macro, good individual abilities from these players. Really the biggest improvement was how so many members stepped up individually, doing Worlds, and now here, of course, in this tournament, Brown gets his victor in the end, and he gets to win on the victor.
And I mean, just as Kongdoo Monster, I don't think you can feel too bad about this, losing to Samsung, runner-up at the World Championship. You know, it's the expected outcome. At least you can say that you took the game off of these guys. But again, a squad that has stuck together for quite some time. We've seen a vast amount of improvement. So maybe they have more of that in them as they get ready to go into the spring split of next year. But Samsung, for now, they will be the IEM Gyeonggi champions as they lift the trophy in the air. They'll be proud of themselves and get ready to begin a fresh new split with this very consistent roster.
Favorites win, just like at Worlds, but at least they do it in entertaining
No one wants to
fashion.
kiss it.
It's not a trophy. It's kind of a bowl. Maybe they want to drink something.
It's got like a
out of it.
thing
It's
on
hard
the
to
bottom
say.
of it. It's like a trophy that's been folded down from the top, kind of. So we don't know exactly what it is, but either way, Samsung Galaxy, they have walked away with a victory. Crown's going to play with it a little bit on stage. You got to have fun with it, all right? You know,